Is it attaining success that matters? Or is it what you do with that success once you've got it that really counts? I'm Elysabeth Alfano, host of the TV show, web series, and podcast, The Celebrity Dinner Party. Model, actress, and filmmaker Katie Cleary joins me today on the red carpet of the Chaplin screening room at Raleigh Studios in Hollywood. Sure, Katie has graced magazine covers all over the globe and appeared on America's Next Top Model, Deal or No Deal, and countless more TV programs. She's been a TV host for E! Entertainment News Now, TV Guide Channel, and HDTV, and has acted in movies like The Breakup and Iron Man 2. But what did Katie do with all that success once she got it? She threw it into her non-for-profit animal welfare organization, Peace for Animals, her World Animal News website, and the making of her movie, Give Me Shelter. Give Me Shelter is now on Netflix, and it's about the people who dedicate their lives to rescuing domestic, wild, and exotic animals, and who raise awareness for the most important animal welfare issues worldwide. Over vegan food and wine, Katie and I dish on just what kind of impact one person can make when they really set their mind to it. So, what to serve a die-hard animal philanthropist and top model? Well, Katie's clearly proven that she's no dummy, so I thought I would dispel another myth about models. Who says they don't eat? I ordered in tempeh bacon, lettuce, and tomato pizza, a barbecue kale and mushroom pizza, a comfort bowl of roasted vegetables with tempeh quinoa meatloaf, and a vegan peanut butter and chocolate cupcake, which I hope she gets to before I do. And what could go better with this vegan meal than Chardonnay from Rosenthal, the Malibu estate? Cultivated above the Malibu coastline in vineyards where cool canyon breezes create an extraordinary microclimate, Rosenthal, the Malibu estate Chardonnay, is an elegant wine of unique taste and quality. A full-bodied wine exhibiting nuances of pineapple, tropical fruit, lemon, and honey with just a hint of vanilla, Rosenthal Malibu Estate Chardonnay is handcrafted by winemaker Christian Roguenant and barrel fermented in French oak to make it a perfect complement to our vegan extravaganza. So sit tight, grab a bite and your own glass of wine, and prepare to be inspired. After a quick word about podcasts and a word from Raleigh Studios and Rosenthal Wines, I'll be right back with Katie Cleary. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, The Celebrity Dinner Party, with me, Elysabeth Alfano, on iTunes. Just search for The Celebrity Dinner Party. Or, if SoundCloud is your thing, you can find me there too by searching for The Celebrity Dinner Party. Subscribe and you'll never have to hunt for engaging and inspiring interviews again. They'll just land on your computer or your iPhone every time a new podcast comes out. So subscribe now to The Celebrity Dinner Party with me, Elysabeth Alfano, because the best conversations really do happen over dinner. Raleigh Studios is a full-service facility that covers every phase of production. Located in the center of Hollywood, the 11-acre studio campus includes 13 sound stages, ranging in sizes from 3,200 square feet to over 16,000 square feet, and over 180,000 square feet of executive and production office space. We provide both services and supplies to cover virtually any production-related need, including lighting and grip, mill space, expendables, security, screening rooms, catering, virtual reality and gaming support, and special events. Whatever your needs, they will be met professionally, expertly, and efficiently with a commitment to quality that is the Raleigh tradition. Contact Studio Services at 310-899-8900 or visit RaleighStudios.com for more information. That's RaleighStudios.com, RALEIGH Studios.com. Within the unique microclimate of Malibu's Newton Canyon lies a 250-acre estate, Rosenthal, the Malibu Estate, where individual plots of Chardonnay, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Petit Verdot, and Cabernet Franc grape varietals are cultivated. You can enjoy these unique wines at Rosenthal's Wine Tasting Room, located at 18741 Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu, just north of where Topanga meets the Pacific Coast Highway. Come in to enjoy a flight of your favorite varietals or explore new varietals with our expert and friendly staff. Live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Check out our website for more information at www.rosenthalestateWines.com. Happy 2017. I am here in a new space with a fantastic person, Katie Cleary. We are at Raleigh Studios. You maybe can see, I don't know, Josh, actually, can you tilt up the camera just a teeny weeny bit? You can see we're in the screening room at Raleigh Studios. They have so many beautiful screening rooms here. See the screen right behind us? So we usually were at the Sunset Marquee, but not today. Today we're at Raleigh Studios, and I'm going to cheers to my Lady of 2017, I'll say already, Katie Cleary, with
Salute.
some Rosenthal Chardonnay.
Ooh, very good.
Salute for our, oh, me too, for our lovely lunch today.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
Have you ever been here, Rosenthal?
You know what? I've
the
heard
tasting
so many
room?
great things about it, and I've always wanted to try it. So yeah, the wine's great.
They're right in Malibu, right where Malibu is on the Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah.
And they're great.
I've seen it. They're really great.
And I thought they would pair really well with, okay, people say models don't eat. I don't think so, people.
Oh, I eat a lot, let me just tell you.
Okay, so we've got some food here from the vegan restaurant Floor in Silver Lake.
Ooh, I love it. I have
It's
been
very
there.
good. So we've got two types of pizza. We've got a comfort bowl with some mashed potatoes and a tempeh quinoa meatloaf.
I'm starving.
And let's dig in.
Let's do it.
So this is my chance. This is your chance to eat. So I'm going to ask a long-winded question.
Okay,
so you have
all right.
time to chew and eat, and
Go
then
for it.
we can find out more about you.
Delicious.
So this is so fun because I'm from Chicago, as you guys all know, and I did not know that Katie is from Glenview.
Yeah, I grew up in Glenview.
So I'm just kind of going to give a little bit of background. So Katie is from the Midwest, and then at a very young age, 21, she had been doing modeling on and off, and then you were on America's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
And how did you go from Glenview to Los Angeles? And I say this with in mind that many people would like that trajectory. Maybe it's modeling, or maybe it's just to be an entrepreneur, but I think many people think, how am I going to get there? How am I going to see that vision for myself? And so I wondered, for yourself, how did you make it happen step by step?
Well, honestly, when I was at a young age, I was rescuing animals with my mom in Chicago, and I always knew I wanted to be involved in animal welfare, so I just didn't know to what extent. So I was either going to be a veterinarian, a zoologist, or have my own organization one day. So I always, had a passion for endangered species, so I always wanted to raise awareness for, the last 5,000 tigers at that time that were left in the wild. Now there's only 3,200 left in the wild. Elephants, rhinos, species like that. So I've always been had a passion for wild and endangered species, and it really started with that at 11, 12 years old. But also at the same time, I started in entertainment. So modeling and acting at the same time, and I worked on a ton of different movie sets in Chicago to kind of get a feel for how the entertainment business really works. And then when I turned 21, I thought, okay, let's take the next step and really make the move to Los Angeles. And it was actually after I had done Top Model, the first season, which was forever ago. It was about 13 years ago. But it feels like yesterday. And that was really the stepping stone, America's Next Top Model, to really, kind of bring me to this point. I'm 35 years old, so it's been, some time now. And I really think the transition from, the modeling and the acting into animal welfare and using that as a platform, because it's interesting how people really listen to the actors and the models, people that, you would think that, wouldn't be so glorified, are glorified. The people that need to be glorified are the people that are really, I believe, saving the lives. The doctors, the lawyers, the, scientists, people like that.
Well, so this is a great segue. I was sort of starting with your career and how you took your power, I'll say, for lack of a better expression, the fact that you have the limelight, and how you took that to use it for good. And so you're really helping me with that by kind of skipping ahead, but maybe it's not skipping ahead. So you've always done animal rescue, welfare, education in tandem with your career.
Exactly. Same.
I didn't
you know,
realize
when I was very, very young, so it was rescuing animals, kittens, puppies, you name it. We would rescue wild animals, squirrels, and we found baby birds, and we would rehabilitate them and then re-release them into the wild. And so around that same time was exactly the time I started modeling. So I was a kid, you know, and I really didn't know what the entertainment business entailed. But now, you know, 20 plus years, you know, in the future, it's interesting. You can use that as a platform for something greater than yourself. And I think that really, you know, in this business, people don't take advantage of the ability that they have to influence, you know, couple thousand, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. And I think that, you know, it's really our job, I believe, in entertainment to use that for the greater good.
So I couldn't agree more. And I think back, and this is a little bit of a segue, but I think to Oprah Winfrey when she was on television. So many talk show hosts had gone before her who had not used that spotlight at all. And then you saw someone take that power and that limelight and shine it on the areas that really need that attention, and one person can make such an extreme difference if they set their mind to it. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I mean, of course, your illustrious career, I mean, you're still an on-air host, and you're doing a lot with films these days. I just saw yesterday on your Instagram that you were on set working on something, so of course I want to hear about your new endeavors
new ABC
too.
show, yeah.
Oh, it's a new ABC show.
Yeah,
Good
it was
for
great.
you.
Yeah, it was a little, you know, cameo co-star, and you know, it's good to start out the year with that. I think
something
that
good. And when
good.
would we be able to see that?
It should be airing in a couple weeks, I think. So the turnover should be quick. So I'll let you guys know.
The name of the show?
Yeah.
Oh, we're
I
gonna
didn't
go
say that, but okay, all right.
It's on the down
hopefully
low.
they won't get mad at me. American Housewives. So it's the comedy, the new comedy on ABC.
Right. So we'll look for that. And so here we have somebody, American Housewives, and many other things. You've been in The Breakup and Iron Man 2, and of course, as I said, an on-air host and top model, and you're on magazine covers all over the place. And you're using that to change the world. So this is to say, what
you're so sweet.
Well, I think so.
Thank you.
I think so. And,
No.
the point for me here is that I think many people watching, or maybe they're not watching, they're at their desk doing something during the day, working, and they're thinking, well, how can I make more of an impact that I do on a daily basis? And I wanted to talk to you to see if you ever had a vision of how this would go, or do you just take it day by day and do whatever you can, or how do you manage your impactfulness, if you will?
Really, you know, I have ability to, I would say, predict things kind of before they happen. And so I can visualize things before. So when I was a kid, I knew that I was going to be moving to Los Angeles. I didn't know exactly what it was going to entail, but I had a feeling that, you know, I would be involved in entertainment at another scale, and then use that. Always the end all be all was animals. So not to say that my passion isn't modeling and you know, acting and things like that, hosting, but the end all be all for me is animal welfare. So whether it's, you know, having the Peace for Animals Reserve in South Africa that would be, you know, rescuing endangered species. I mean, that's where I see maybe retiring when I'm, you know, in my 70s or 80s or whatever, because I'm going to be working my whole life, I know, on animal welfare. So that's, for me, that's the end all be all, is the animals, and always has been.
So let's talk a little bit about this. As we were saying, you know, this great career, and you decided to really focus on what you're passionate about. And I think that to me is just something that everyone can do. If everyone just takes that one issue that really speaks to them and they work on it in any capacity, things start to shift.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So for you did a film that I watched last night, and I recommend everyone see it. It's on Netflix. Go to it now. Give Me Shelter. So how did the film Give Me Shelter come about, and tell everybody what it is?
Yeah, so Give Me Shelter is my first film. I produced it. My best friend directed it, and I funded the whole thing on my own. And it was really just an idea that I had in 2012, and it kind of came to fruition, you know, kind of coinciding with World Animal News and Peace for Animals. So it was World Animal News, Peace for Animals, and Give Me Shelter, the film, all at the same time. And I don't know why this was happening, but I felt, you know, it was kind of setting me up for down the road, this is going to become something larger than I had imagined. So I literally called my best friend one morning and I said, I had this epiphany about doing this documentary and I want to name it Give Me Shelter. And she said, all right. I said, I want you to direct it. And she's a director, and she went to school at IU for directing, and I thought, you're the perfect person to come on board. So I said, would you be willing to move out to Los Angeles? And she said yes. And so she moved out to Los Angeles, and 3 years later, we completed the film. And it took a long time. It took, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, but now it's been actually 5 years. It's been on Netflix for 2 years, and so it has been 5 years since we began. And a network just picked it up, so it's going to be.
Network?
We can't.
Okay,
We can't say yet
all
because
right.
we're in the middle of kind of finalizing everything. So it'll be shortened, and it'll be actually a series on a network. So hopefully, if this goes well, there'll be many more to come. So I will keep you guys posted, and we're actually right now in the acquisition kind of stages. So
that's beautiful.
Very exciting.
Well, okay,
yeah.
That's really what we have to cheers to.
Salute,
That is really great news.
So it'll be shortened from 90 minutes to 45 minutes, and then we're going to be adding some new footage and new people to it just to kind of update it. So yeah, it's very exciting, and then working on the second documentary, We Are One. So yeah.
And what is We Are One about?
It'll be the follow-up to Give Me Shelter, and
Okay.
it'll be highlighting all the issues that we really didn't touch on in depth in the first one. So
Like
everything
farming
from factory farming, bear bile industry, dog and cat meat industry, a little bit more about the ivory trade, rhino horn trade, the pangolin issue. They're one of the most endangered species on the planet, and they're trafficked for their meat. Pangolins in Africa.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're
Pangolins.
Pangolins. Yeah,
What
they're
is a pangolin?
They're they look like a little armadillo. They're very small, and they're one of the most trafficked animals on the planet, and they're going extinct as a result. So, and people don't know. People don't know what's really happening.
What are they trafficked for?
For their meat and their scales. So it's not good. It's not looking good for these animals.
It's not looking good for a lot of animals. And so why should we care? All right, Jane Goodall says you can't have healthy people if you don't have a healthy planet, because that's where the people live. You can't have a healthy planet if you don't have healthy animals, because they work together.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
absolutely.
you don't have a healthy ecosystem.
Yeah.
And that's where we live. So beating up our planet and our animals isn't really the brightest move. So in the movie Give Me Shelter, what you do is you talk to all these people who dedicate their lives, because many people are very passionate about this and they do care, and I'm so grateful for them. You talk to the many people who give their lives to animal rescue, stopping illegal wildlife trade of living animals, let alone the illegal trade of horn and
It's horrible.
tusk. And
It's a $20 billion industry, $20 billion. So they're parts and the live illegal wild animal trade. It's horrible.
And it's really easy to say, well, that happens in Africa, so I don't see that, and therefore it doesn't mean anything to me. But it is all kind of connected, I think, how people think about animals. And again, then how you think about your planet, and then really how you think about yourself.
Of course.
So I think it's Gandhi who said we are all judged by how societies are judged, I'm paraphrasing here, poor Gandhi, judged, give or take, by how we treat our animals.
Yeah,
Civilizations
that's the quote that I actually have on all my email, as in the signature is, we're judged, a nation is judged on the way we treat animals, and I'm paraphrasing as well. But it's really important because it's a circle of life. I mean, if one thing dies off, then it's just a matter of time and affects the whole circle. It affects not just them, but it affects our planet and affects us inevitably.
Right.
So it's something that, I believe as the apex predator, I call us the apex predator because we're the ones who are really killing the planet. It is our responsibility to be their voice, and we have to do what we can to save it.
Right, absolutely. So if you're unsure about some of these issues, and I know nobody says, gosh, it's a beautiful Saturday, I'm going to find out about all the pain going on in the world. I know that that's kind of a hard pill to swallow, but you don't want to. Education is such a powerful tool, and it really is the beginning of change.
It is.
And honestly, if this isn't your issue, there are so many other ways that you can help the planet, the people on the planet itself, and of course animals. So education, I think, is just bringing down that barrier of facing what really is going on around us.
Yeah.
And again, we talk about things in Africa, but even right here, of course, it's not just that illegal ivory and tusks are brought in, or shark fin, or this makes no sense to me, but it's also, I didn't know things like palm oil.
Oh, Yeah,
I
palm
did
oil is
not know this.
a whole other issue. You know what? I really didn't know it until I went to Costa Rica, and my friends have a sustainable treehouse community there called Finca Bella Vista, and they basically build these beautiful treehouse communities, and it's all from sustainable wood, and you know, they really, you know, kind of built it into the ecosystem of the rainforest. And you know, they said that their rainforest in Costa Rica, and it's actually worse in Borneo, but in Costa Rica, they're starting to bring palm oil and palm oil plants from Africa. It's the African palm, to harvest the oil, and it's the cheapest kind of oil that you can buy. It's in 50% of all products. So if you look on the back of, you know, shampoos, conditioners, lotions, you name it, peanut butter, it'll be there. Palmitate, there's a lot of derivatives of palm oil, and it's destroying our rainforest. 97% of orangutans have been wiped off the planet because of palm oil, and it's basically destroying their habitat, and it's also because they have a bounty put on their head. They're known as pests, essentially, from these palm oil workers and the plantation owners that don't want them there. So they have a bounty to be killed as a result.
So the average person shopping, help them through the aisle. Like, what can you do? Because a lot of people don't want to have a negative footprint. They don't even understand that, you know, little segue. For the longest time, no one knew that trans fats were bad for you because companies weren't telling you. And then it was in everything. And then you saw all these, you know, obesity and in children and diabetes in children that was never in children before. And we had to stand up to for ourselves to the companies. And so as the individual walking down the aisle, we all know now, like you read the label, you go like, okay, roger that, no trans fats. And in the end, supply and demand. If you're not going to buy the trans fats, you never see them anymore.
Of course.
I think there may be in Oreos, but I mean, they're just
yeah,
not
I think
around.
that might be it.
That's
Or
kind of
Twinkies.
it.
But you know, it's something that you have to not only spread awareness for, but you know, I think that social media is a very powerful tool. So if you can use social media for the greater good, I think that you can reach not only your friends, but you can reach people around the world. And that's what we've done with World Animal News. Actually, you know, as a radio network, we needed something to be able to mainstream animal welfare. So I created World Animal News because I thought, you know, no one's highlighting these issues. They're not highlighting them as much as we need them to be highlighted on CNN or MSNBC or even Fox. I mean, you know, there's little stories here and there about a mountain lion that, you know, got loose or whatever and shot. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is. They don't highlight the breaking issues, like, for instance, last night with what happened in France, which is, I mean, could be the most groundbreaking news of not only last year, but this year, because we're starting off this year really strong with China actually banning the cargo of shark finning. That was the first big news this year.
I didn't know that.
So
I'm thrilled.
China banned the transport and cargo of shark fins because 100 million sharks are killed every year.
Yes.
But back to the slaughterhouses, last night we broke the news in France that now every slaughterhouse in France is going to be having video surveillance. So, you know, because I'm sure you see all those horrible videos on social media about the torture and the killing of all these you know, factory farming animals. It's horrific.
Yes.
And so I believe if it is monitored by the right people, you know, I don't see how somebody can watch a video and see how these animals are slaughtered and go eat a steak dinner. I don't see how people can do that. But
so, to play devil's advocate a little bit, talk to me about this. What about humane practices in farming? Is that possible?
I don't think that there's any such thing, to be honest. I mean, you're slaughtering an animal that doesn't want to be slaughtered. Inevitably, it just wants to live. So, you know, I really think that it's a bit of a myth. I think that yes, we want to do, you know, we want to make the conditions for these pigs and, you know, and cows and chickens better. But then the end all be all would be to adopt a plant-based diet. And I think that, you know, it's growing. I think our movement is growing little by little. It really is.
Okay, so, I mean, there's just so much we can talk about. But I will say, switching to veganism a little bit. So I became a vegan a year ago, basically this month, January of 2016.
Congratulations.
And I thought, oh gosh, this is going to be hard. And it was so easy. And here's the reason, is that, and what a lucky treat for me, shifting to vegetables, one kind of worked out all of the craving for that stuff. So I found like after a week of just not having the other stuff, cheese and meat, and I was never a big meat eater, and even sugar and all that stuff, just getting that out of my system, I didn't crave it very much anymore. And then it opened my world to all these vegetables that I never would have considered to put on my plate.
It's really interesting. You can experiment with so many different concoctions, and I go to Veggie Grill a lot, so that's I live at Veggie Grill.
Yes.
And they're going national, which is great.
Oh,
so it'll be like in every city.
Supply demand. I think they're going national because I see more and more people demanding vegan food, wanting vegan food, asking about what it is to be vegan. You know, and all the health benefits that come along with it.
Oh,
so
there's so many.
I immediately dropped 10 pounds. It was just like extra bonus. I wasn't even trying for.
And you have more energy, really. I mean,
so much
when
more energy.
I eliminated meat, I haven't had meat in 6 years now. And I've been vegan for about 1.5 years. And so, but I feel more energy. I feel like, I can run faster. I constantly, need more energy to work out and things like that, and run my husky, because I've got many animals that I've rescued at home. I've got a zoo.
10 animals.
I've got a zoo, yes.
Wait, so tell me about your 10 animals.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've become a foster failure. So the last,
That's so me.
I know, the last 4 I found in a box, kittens, and I was actually leaving the shelter with an adopted dog that my boyfriend had adopted at the time, and this woman brought in a box with 4 kittens, and I said, if you leave these kittens here, they're going to probably euthanize them because they don't have anyone to bottle feed them. So usually a lot of the kittens that come in without a mother, they end up euthanizing because they just don't have the staff or people to take care of the animals unless a rescue steps up. So I literally just happened to be getting out of the shelter at the right time. I grabbed the box and I said, I'll take them. And so I turned to my boyfriend and I said, will you help me bottle feed these kittens? And he's like, all right, let's do it. So every 2 hours we bottle fed them.
Oh my word.
Yes, it was, set the alarm. There was no sleep for a couple months. But,
oh my God.
But now they're healthy and big, and they're approaching 1 year old, and it's great. It's just, it's so rewarding because these animals know that you've rescued them.
Yes, I know. So all of my animals, cats and dogs, have been rescued. And
awesome.
I think if it's hard to tackle the big issues, like we'll say, Africa, what's going on, and the international black market that many of us know nothing about. Now we know about palm oil. We're going to look for it on our ingredients and buy products that have no animal testing, hopefully have no palm oil.
Look for the bunny.
Look
for the bunny on the back of any cosmetic products, or really any products you buy. If they have no animal testing, it has to say it. If it doesn't say it, usually they test on animals.
Okay.
So it has to have either the leaping bunny or there's another little cute bunny on there, and then it'll say no animal testing. So,
okay, so
yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, whoever does that, because that is very helpful for us.
It is.
So these are kind of easy things, like even if you're not going to bottle feed 4 kittens at 2 in the morning, which you might.
You might. You never know.
You never know. They're pretty gosh darn cute.
Yeah,
you might. So, but at least like when you're shopping, you can reduce your footprint on the environment.
Absolutely.
And of course, not eating meat reduces the
Huge.
environmental imprint, because just the farming of cows.
20%, methane comes from cows, carbon comes from cars. So methane is 20 times stronger than carbon. So if you just don't eat meat for about 1 year, your carbon footprint will go down tremendously, because methane gas is really what's destroying our planet, along with carbon. It's both, really. I mean, cars, we have to go electric. I believe that's the key.
Yes.
Electric and solar is great, but the carbon footprint is really really important. People don't realize that 70% of our land is used to graze cattle. So think about that. 70% of our land we're not even talking about the water.
I was just going to say,
we're
talking
about land.
About water issues. Yes.
There's more water on the planet than land. So 70% of our land is used to graze cattle. Think about that environmental impact and global warming. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't believe in global warming. It's a myth. It is not a myth. I'm telling you this right now. It's scientifically proven, and we can really reduce, if not eliminate, our carbon footprint if we adopt a plant-based diet.
We really can. And if you go to electric cars, it won't be enough.
It won't be enough
because it's another sort of marketing myth. People think, oh, it's the cars that are really the problem, and it's really not. It's
us, and it's the farming
of animals.
And the water that's used. I mean, you're going to be drinking some water. The water that's used for these cows. I mean, California was in a drought up until recently.
Yes, where we've gotten a
major rain.
Which we love it, because now everything's green.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It's great. We needed it, but they were in a drought. We were in a drought. So I think people don't realize how much water these animals need, and how and really we could be saving water by not eating meat.
Not eating meat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to mess up this statistic, I'm sure. Rich Roll, many of you saw my podcast with him. He's a vegan athlete.
Oh, cool.
So somebody who is here to prove like how you don't need more protein than what you get in vegetables.
Yeah.
He's like does like triathlons and Ironmans, all being a vegan diet. But he was saying something like 660 quarts go into the making of a quarter pounder.
Oh. Wow.
Of water. So just to say
That's
the waste there, yes.
Yeah.
But if some of these things, because I don't want to overwhelm everyone, and it's a lot of it sort of, for lack of a better expression, isn't any one individual's fault.
No.
Some of it is if you are poaching and selling illegally. You know who you are.
You need to stop.
And
because we're going to come find you.
yeah, karma is
They
what
will
it
get
is,
you,
people.
yes.
So, you know,
Yes.
bad things go around and they come around.
Yes, they do.
All right.
Yes,
But
they
for
do.
most of us, you don't know that, like, God, who would know that about a quarter pounder
Yeah.
of cheese or whatever?
Well, not even
So-
that, but the water that goes into the feed and the grain and the vegetables
Right,
that
yes,
feed the
that's
animals.
why.
So, I mean, think about it. These animals are vegan, essentially.
Yes.
They're vegan.
All
so,
they do is eat grass.
but we're eating them. So, really, if you just eliminate the slaughtering process like Beyond Meat is doing, they're a great company. You can find them at Whole Foods Beyond Meat. And my other favorite is Field Roast. I don't know if you've had Field Roast. Oh my gosh, they have these great vegan sausages and burgers.
Oh.
They are the best. So between Field Roast and Beyond Meat, you guys are set. You don't ever have to
Wonderful.
purchase any meat
And
ever again in
The
your
amazing
lifetime.
thing is it does taste like meat.
It does, especially Beyond Meat. And so, and they have the Beyond Burger at Veggie Grill, so you can look for that.
Noted.
Yes, and so there's so many alternatives, but from what I understand is Whole Foods is now going to have a plant-based meat section and a animal-based meat section. So think about that. I mean, that is, 10 years ago, this would have never happened.
So,
Never.
So that just speaks to the point that change is possible.
It is.
Because I know we are talking about really large issues here, and I don't want people to feel overwhelmed and that they can't make a difference anywhere because they're too big, these issues, and so where do you start? It is supply and demand, and so if Whole Foods is coming in and addressing the plant-based market, which is
way.
growing,
Yeah.
then change is possible. And every drop of water in a bucket makes a bucket of water. So everything you do to only buy products that aren't tested on animals. Now we're going to start looking for palm oil, which I didn't know either. So I'm going to start looking for that. You know, trying plant-based diets.
Recycled paper products, because a lot of the paper actually comes from the rainforest. So
right,
they
of
mix
course.
it with trees from the United States. So, and I spoke about that on Jane Velez-Mitchell's show when she had her show on CNN. It was, people had no idea
Is that show still on?
It is not, but she has Jane Unchained. So a little shout out to Jane.
Okay.
We'll be seeing her on Sunday. But Jane Unchained is another news network that she focuses on vegan lifestyle, vegan eating, different recipes. She's got Lunch Break Live, and she's one of our partners. So we kind of, we'll do the World Animal News stuff from around the world, and she'll do a lot of the local protests, a lot of, the new vegan recipes, and it's pretty cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So
let's go over sort of a short list of things that we can do that are super easy, and then a short list of the obvious, don't do that. So short list, okay, like we were saying, no animal testing.
No animal
Look
testing.
for palm oil. Try to switch out a couple things a week from meat to plant-based, and you'll see
it's
this kind
so
of
easy.
it really is.
It's just
easy.
literally making a different purchase at the store. So if you want more of something, put your money on it.
Right,
Buy it.
absolutely.
So
you vote with your
you
dollars.
vote with your dollar. Exactly.
So vote-
Exactly.
So yes, and then
So it's
here's
easy.
some obvious of like this is an obviously bad thing. No circus. No.
No.
There's no good way around the circus.
Or SeaWorld, because it's essentially the same
circus,
thing.
yes, right,
It's a
yeah.
circus for marine mammals that literally swim hundreds of thousands of miles every year, these orcas
Stuck in
and
a
dolphins,
tank.
and they're stuck in a tank, and they have sonars. So think about that. You communicate with sonar, and it keeps bouncing back at you because you're trying to go through a concrete wall, a tank. And so, it's torture, it's slavery, it's modern day slavery for these animals, and I believe 2017 is going to be the year.
I do.
I believe it.
You're seeing
Oh
how
my
many
gosh.
people are against SeaWorld, and
We're a couple weeks into January, and we just were able to get cameras in slaughterhouses, which is the first step in France. I think that this will now spread to the rest of the
Vive la
world.
France.
Thank you, France.
Thank you, France.
Bravo.
Yeah.
China banned, shark fin
Incredible.
cargo,
'Cause-
and
excuse
there's
me.
many other things that are happening in the works. So
China's a huge market, so that means
they're the number one market.
absolutely right. So that means things are going to change. So we're going to say no to circus, no fur. No one needs to be wearing fur. At
No
this
one needs,
point. That's-
especially in California,
come
you
on,
guys.
people. Yeah, that's a.
Come on.
So we're just going to move on from that because that's so obvious.
Yeah.
No to fur, And then I always say, if you're gonna get a dog, you've got to go to a shelter.
You have
Just
to
gotta
go.
to a shelter.
Adopt, don't shop.
There's absolutely, puppy mills are horrible. I think most people have maybe heard about puppy mills, but they don't know that puppy mills are the ones who supply the pet stores.
Exactly.
So any cute little dog in a cage in a window, it's the wrong way to go. Shelters are everywhere. All of my purebred animals have all come from shelters.
Yeah, same with mine.
I have mastiffs. My whole life I've had mastiffs, purebred mastiffs. Purebred, sweet, adorable, wonderful, loving, lazy, slow,
I like
beautiful
mastiffs. They're huge.
All from, they're huge, 115
Yeah.
pounds, my current mastiff, all from shelters. So
My husky, I was filming Give Me Shelter, ironically, and I walked out to my car just to grab something really quick, and this little girl and her father were bringing in this purebred 3-month-old husky, and I said, "You've got to be kidding me! Why are you bringing in this beautiful husky?" And they said, "Well, we don't know how to train it. It's not getting along with our cats, and we just purchased it from a breeder." And I said, "Oh my gosh, that 50% of these animals don't necessarily get adopted out, and they get euthanized at shelters.
Right.
At least 50%, even higher amount for cats. 70% of cats don't leave shelters. So the chances of him getting euthanized at the shelter at Baldwin Park were 50%. So I said, give me the leash, give me the papers, I'm going to take him. And so, that happens to me quite a bit. I can never just go to a shelter and then leave without anything. That's the big issue.
Sounds like me.
Yeah,
I know.
that's why I have so many animals.
Animals kind of land on my lap too.
Yeah.
They sort of, even when I'm not looking for them, they sort of show up at my doorstep.
Yeah, same with
somebody
me.
gives
They
me
show
them in
up.
a basket. And
Yeah, they'll be like knocking on the door in the
I know.
backyard. I heard
We
that
know
you take
animals.
But it happens all the time. But it's worth it.
So is it true that you also shouldn't get an animal from a breeder?
No, I would not recommend animals from breeders. I wouldn't be, just because it's not needed. You can find really anything you're looking for from a rescue or from a shelter.
Okay.
Really.
So you have your marching orders, everybody. Those are the obvious.
So obvious, yeah.
Because really, when you think about it, we don't want to be fostering pain in this world, and it does come back. So in the end, if we care about ourselves and our planet, these are some of the things. And pick your poison. You don't. This is what we do. This is how we run our lives, and this is what's important to us. Pick what's important to you. You don't have to take on the world, and if it sounds like it's a big, overwhelming mess, it kind of is. So just pick your little corner of it, and start to make a difference.
Yeah.
I will say, if anybody has any questions about animal stuff or they want to get involved, how do they find you, or what should they do?
Well, follow me on social media. On Instagram, I'm Katie Cleary 11. On Twitter, it's Katie_Cleary, and you can also follow me on Facebook.
Yes.
And then make sure to visit worldanimalnews.com every day for breaking issues. Follow us on Instagram. We try to literally, we're probably, I would say, I was up till 2 in the morning doing that article. So we're pretty much 24 hours a day at this point.
And you do it yourself all the way?
No, I have, I that would be, in the beginning I did. I do have a small team of people that help me because it's a bit overwhelming to run a news network for animals.
So just so I'm clear on this, because you have so much going on, it's hard to keep it all straight. You have World Animal News.
World Animal News.
You're now doing another movie, which is the follow-up to Give Me Shelter, which is on Netflix, everybody.
Yeah, We Are One, and then look for Give Me Shelter. It'll be on a recognizable news network TV station this year. So it'll be, I'll announce that soon.
And it's a series, you said.
They're calling it a series, so that means that if enough people watch it and it does well, we'll be seeing more. So. And
then it's Peace for Animals, which is your foundation, which helps you fund these endeavors.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Yes. So Peace for Animals is, I founded everything at the same time in 2012. So it was
Okay.
World Animal News, Give Me Shelter, Peace for Animals.
Okay, so you have a lot going on. And then also you're going to be American Housewives popping up on ABC at some point soon.
Yeah. It's a scripted show on ABC, and it's going to be funny. It's a little role. So, yeah.
Okay, so before I let you go, and before we start eating, because obviously we're talkers and we've got a lot of food here to eat, so
it looks delicious.
We're going to go in just a second. A couple of quick questions. Your very favorite go-to snack. You're on the set, you're running around, you don't have time, you're shooting Give Me Shelter. What's your go-to snack that you have like in your back pocket?
You know what I love are those, the Kind bars. The coconut Kind bar. Oh my gosh, I can eat like 10 of those in one setting.
That's wonderful.
I love those.
Yeah, I'm a big cashews and raisins together.
Okay.
Nuts and raisins. I sort of make my own.
That's good.
I do eat honey. I know that some vegans don't eat honey. I do eat honey, and so I'll make sort of like a cashew, raisin, honey and raw oats thing, and I'll mix it together. It's like my own kind of
wow.
bar.
Oh, that's cool.
Just because, I don't know,
Nice.
I like it. I like to goof around. Okay, do you cook at all? And if so, what's your go-to meal that you make?
I do cook. I cook quite a bit, and you know what? I love the field roasts, the burgers that the vegan burgers and the sausages. So if I'm in a rush, which normally I am because I don't have enough time in the day to do everything, I literally just take a little frying pan, put a little olive oil in there, and fry up one of the vegan sausages or burgers, and you literally just make it like a regular burger. Sometimes I don't use the bread just because the bread is too many carbs, but I'll wrap it in lettuce, put a little tomato, onion, a little bit sauteed garlic on there, and then I use the vegan mayo, the garlic vegan mayo. I'm a big garlic fan, and truffle oil. Truffle oil is a must.
So this is why I am not a model. I do have all the bread, and I eat all the bread, and then I go get vegan cupcakes. So there's a slight difference in our diet.
It's all good. It's all good.
When the Cubs were going to the World Series, I was making, I don't know if they were field or not, but they were vegan sausages. I never really looked at the label. They were vegan sausages, and I was making all these vegan hot dogs the whole time.
They're good. I'm telling you. You guys got to try them.
No ketchup.
You'll never know the
mustard.
difference.
Totally the Chicago way.
Yes.
I didn't know the difference. It was so
You
great.
won't know the difference, yeah.
And my very last question. So you're on a show called The Celebrity Dinner Party. Who would you like to have dinner with?
Oh, wow. I would say oh my gosh, this is a tough one.
And I didn't give you any leeway, so I'll
That's
let you
okay.
think about that.
I would say Jane Goodall.
I was going to say
Jane Goodall.
Jane Goodall.
She's my idol.
She is a wonderful. I've seen her speak so many times.
Yeah.
Just being in the same room with Jane Goodall, it sends a sense of calm around sometimes 300, 400, 500 people.
It's
amazing
interesting
to be in her presence.
Yeah, and we did do a little feature on Jane Goodall on World Animal News, and when I met her, I gave her the documentary, and she gave me her book, and I felt that sense of peace and calm that she's really a very special person and put here on this earth for a very special reason. So we all have to work together, right?
Absolutely, absolutely right. Okay, so Katie Cleary's on Facebook and Instagram, World Animal News, Watch Give Me Shelter. I also do a lot with animals, so hopefully you're here following me on Facebook at Elysabeth Alfano, but then on Instagram and Twitter, I am Dinner Party CHGO. We've got some eating to do, so we're going to head out. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being with us.
Take care.
See you.
Bye.
Thanks for joining in on The Celebrity Dinner Party with me, Elysabeth Alfano. To stay in the know, follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Dinner Party CHGO and on Facebook at The Dinner Party and at Elysabeth Alfano. To subscribe to this podcast, find The Celebrity Dinner Party on iTunes and on SoundCloud. And if you want to send me an email about today's podcast or anything else, you can find all my information at thedinnerparty.tv. The editor of The Celebrity Dinner Party is Joshua Snyder. The original music is by the Websters and Ship Captain Crew. Thanks for listening today, and join me on the next Dinner Party podcast where the best conversations happen over dinner.